You crack open your shell in a dark, sickly nest hidden inside a tree cavity. Your first sensation is a symphony of chirps from your siblings as they squirmel around you. Welcome to the world, tiny fluffball. You're about the size of a cherry, weighing less than an ounce, and already you've got competition. Your eyes aren't even open yet, but you can feel your brothers and sisters pushing against you. All of you desperate telestridge your necks up whenever you hear her mom or dad approaching the nest. The feeding frenzy begins. You're parentally in with food. And suddenly, it's like a mini battle royale. Whoever screams loudest and stretches highest gets the prize. A delicious glob of half-digested seeds straight from your brains. Crop, yum. You quickly learn to thrust your beak up higher than your siblings, opening your mouth wider than seems physically possible. Your neck muscles develop faster than anything goes, because if you don't reach that food first, you don't eat. Talk about brutal competition right from day one. By week 2, your eyes crack open first time. Surprise! The world isn't actually pitch black. You see your siblings, 4 miniature versions of yourself, all pink and wrinkly with patchy fuzz instead of feathers. You're real crammed together in a space barrel bigger than a coffee cup. Personal space. Never heard of it. At 3 weeks old, you're starting to look less like an inactive lamb and more like an actual bird. Your feathers are coming in. Vibrant greens, yellows, oranges, or pinks, depending on what kind of lovebird you are. Those colors will eventually make you look adorable, but right now you're in that awkward teenage phase, where half your body has bright feathers and half still shows your embarrassing baby skin. Not exactly your most photogenic moment. Your parents are a steal, bringing you food. But now they're reteaching you to crack seeds on your own. Learning to use your beak properly is harder than it looks. You drop more seeds than you eat. And your siblings shave, no problem stealing your leftovers. Every meal is basically a training session for your jaw muscles. Crack, drop, try again. Crack, drop, try again. By the time you master it, your jaw feels like you've been to bird boot camp. At 6 weeks old, it's flying school time. Your parents coax you to the edge, the nest with a tasty seed held just out of reach. Your instincts tell your host's little stubby wings should somehow keep you airborne, but gravity has other plans. Your first flight is more of a controlled fall with style. You flap frantically, manage to stay up for about 2 seconds, then crash land on the ground bellow. Your siblings laugh. Okay, they're birds. They don't actually but their chirps sound suspiciously mocking. Every day is flying practice. Up, flap, crash. Up, flap. Slightly longer glide, crash. The worst part, your parents make it look effortless. They zoom around performing aerial tricks, landing perfectly on thorniest branches. Meanwhile, you're just trying not to faceplant into another tree trunk. By 8 weeks old, you're finally getting the hang of it. Though your landing still needs serious work, your tiny feet are covered in bruise from all those rough touchdowns. Just when you're starting to enjoy your unwound flying freedom, your parents kick you out. No warning, no goodbye party. They just start chasing you away from the nest. Apparently, they want to make more babies and you're cramping their style. Harsh. You find yourself homeless at 2 months old. Forced to join a flock of other young lovebirds who are all just as clueless as you are. Life in the flock is wild. Nobody knows what they're doing. It's like summer camp with no counselors. You all fly around together, finding food, avoiding predators, and generally trying not toady. The older birds in the flock take leadership roles, showing you where the best seeds grow and which watering holes are safe. You quickly learn the Pekinger literally. Birds with the strongest beaks and most aggressive aid get the best food. You get pecked a few times before figuring out your place in the hierarchy. Food gathering becomes your full-time job. Morning till night, you're cracking seeds, digging up roots, and scavenging for anything edible. Your tiny body burns energy like crazy, so you need to eat almost constantly. Rain days are the worst. Wet seeds are harder to crack. Flying is more difficult, and you go to sleep, hungry and soaked. But you push through, because what other choice do ya have? Your first year is all about survival and learning. You master complex flight patterns to avoid hawks. You figure out how to find water during dry spells. You learn which seeds give hoes stomach problems and which ones taste the best. Your vibrant colors fully develop, making you look like a flying rainbow. Then spring arrives and suddenly, something feels different. You start noticing other lovebirds in a whole new way. That one over there with particularly shiny feathers, suddenly very interesting. Your body fills with an urge to show off. You start doing extra loops and twirls during flight, puffing your chest feathers whenever a potential mate flees by, and practicing your sweetest song when nobody's watching. Finding a mate isn't just about good looks. It's a boot proving you're a competent partner. You gather small twigs and present them as gifts. You demonstrate your seed-cracking prowess. You show off your flying skills with increasingly dramaticarial displays. It's exhausting, especially when your presents get rejected. That cute lovebird you've been eyeing just tossed your carefully selected twig off the branch without even looking at it. Ouch! After several rejections and awkward courtship fails. You finally meet your match. An other lovebird who actually appreciates your wig-gathering abilities and doesn't mind your slightly lopsided flight pattern. You bond through a series of intimate rituals, feeding each other, preening each other's feathers, and sitting so close together that your bodies touch. This isn't just a seasonal thing. Lovebirds mate for life. Talk about pressure to choose the right partner. Together, you search for the perfect nesting spot. It needs to be safe from predators, sheltered from weather, and spacious enough for your future family. You settle on a cozy tree cavity and spend weeks preparing it, lining it with bark, leaves, and grass. Your mate is particularly picky about arrangement, making you rearrangings constantly. You bring a leaf, they move it 3 in to the left. You bring a piece of bark, they decide it belongs in the opposite side. Interior decorating as a lovebird is an exercise in patience. Egg-laying time arrives, and if you're the female, you now understand why your mother was technically cheerful all the time. Pushing out those eggs is no picnic. Over several days, you produce a clutch offer 6 eggs. Each one takes considerable effort, draining your energy and nutrients. You need to eat then more than usual, just to keep your strength up. Now begins the tedious task of incubation. For the next 3 weeks, you and your mate take turns sitting on the eggs, keeping them at the perfect temperature. Your world shrinks to the size of your nest. Hours blur together us. You sit and sit and sit some more. The only excitement is the brief changeover when your mate returns and you can stretch your wings for a quick food run before it's your turn to sit again. Finally, the eggs begin to hatch. Tiny beaks poke through the shells. And soon your nest is filled with the salmon-act hungry babies you once were. And no, the real work begins. From dawn till dusk, you and your mate fly back and forth, gathering food for your perpetually hungry offspring. They never stop begging. Their mouths are always open, their chirps always desperate. You stuff yourself with seeds until your crop is full. Then fly back to regurgitate it all for your chicks. Sleep becomes a distant memory. Your days revolve entirely around feeding trips and keeping the nest clean. No small task when you have multiple babies pooping regularly in your home. You and your mate take turns, but there's no real break. Even when you're out gathering food, you're not relaxing. You're working to find enough sustenance to satisfy those insatiable appetites waiting back at the nest. As your chicks grow, they become more demanding and more mobile. They start climbing over each other, pushing to the front for feeding time. The smallest one gets shoved to the back, and you find yourself trying to ensure everyone gets their fair share. It's an impossible task. There's always one chick that's a bit bigger, a bit stronger, a bit more aggressive than the others. By 6 weeks, your offspring have feathers and air learning to fly. Your peaceful nest becomes flight school central. They crash into the walls, into each other, into you. They knock over your orange nest materials. They screech at volumes that make your ears ring. And just when you think you can't take any more chaos, they start practicing their seed cracking. Seeds get scattered everywhere. Partially chewed bits of food decorate every surface. Finally, mercifully, they're ready to leave the nest. You and your mate gently but firmly encourage them to join the wider flock. Some go willingly, excited for independence. Others cling to the familiar nests, requiring more forceful eviction techniques. It's not that you didn't love them. You do, but you're sanitizing them to move out. Once they're gone, you and your mate collapse in exhaustion. You spend days just recovering, preening each other's neglected feathers and enjoying the quiet. But nature has a cruel sense of humor. Just as you're settling in top-sparing bliss, your body signals it's time to do it all over again. That's right. Lovebirds can raise multiple broods per year. Your mate is lordly bringing in fresh nesting material with that look in their eye. And as you watch your mate, excitedly preparing for another round of chaos, sleep deprivation, and constant feeding, you can't help but wonder if Lovebird is really the most accurate name. May Begleton for punishment bird would be more fitting. But when your mate snuggles up against you at the end of Thor exhausting day, beaks touching in that special Lovebird kiss, you'll remember why you signed up for this crazy life in the first place. Just didn't tell anyone about that cute blue Lovebird from Nenny Bowering. Trio've been secretly admiring during your seed gathering trips. What happens at the acacia tree stays at the acacia.